And we are live.
All right, good evening. Welcome to tonight's Board of Health meeting for Wednesday, May 14th. First thing we'll do is roll call.
Joyce Gilmore here.
Alan Greenberg here.
Jack McClellan here.
Right, very good. Thank you. Good and welfare for the public. Do we have anyone in the audience or at home?
We do not.
Right, moving right along. New business. Letter to the town trash and recycling subscribers.
All right, here's a letter that's drafted that Tom and I worked on. Colleen reviewed it, Ellen, the town clerk, also reviewed it for some ideas. So basically, this will be sent out to all trash subscribers, asking about the senior discount program. As you can see, on the back of the letter, there are survey questions.
Right.
These survey questions will be posted online once the bills start going out, so people can also go online instead of submitting this form back to us. So basically, just looking for the board's approval and changes, any additions.
No, but
letter,
that
survey
was very
questions.
good.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great too. In fact, I thought the front was so great, I didn't turn it over and look at the back. I especially like the second to last paragraph. I thought that was really, nice expression. Any other comments on this letter?
No, I like the
All right, so Joyce, you and I can vote to move forward on this.
Yep, I knew that we should go forward with this lovely letter.
Okay, I will step down and second that motion.
Okay.
Thank you. All done.
Now, on this paper here, when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the residents and how many there are. Am I reading this in a way that, like, there are some people who have 3 residents in their home, and
So,
in my opinion, it should be just for seniors that are a husband and a wife, or 2 sisters, or whatever. It shouldn't be for kids that are younger, 17, 32, 40, 50, living with them.
well, I think that's what the survey question is gonna come into play, and how the program is gonna be changed by the Board of
Okay,
Health.
right. Right,
But if you're looking at the numbers here,
right,
again, out of the 577 applications, there are 149 senior discount applications that have the following. So 428 only have 1 to 2 residents living at the property. 88 of the applications have 3 residents, and so on. 36 have 4, 17 have 5.
okay, yeah, okay,
And that's kind of the catalyst for why we're doing the survey.
right,
It's because of financial reasons. If we find that we can no longer support it at a 50% discount,
right,
we either need to tighten up the restrictions, the qualifications, or we need to go from 50% to 40% or 30%. So
well, I
that we
think that,
rebalance the burden.
I think that we could do both. I think we need to say, hey, look, it's nice that you have seniors here, but if you've got 5 kids or 7 kids, and they're all there, that's not how this works.
Right, and that's,
They are responsible because they're creating a hell of a lot more trash.
and
Yeah.
that's kind of the reason, again, to look at it. I know Jack found an address where there's 8 occupants
Right,
from, a senior citizen down to a 1-year-old. So when we get the survey back, we should be able to have a
Right.
educated conversation on how to change the qualifications
right,
or to change the percentage so that we can rebalance it.
Prorate it.
and
And
keep
Right.
it-
come up with a
So that,
prorated schedule.
so that the good senior citizens who are behaving and doing things and, again, as I say, I mean, we put our trash out probably every other week.
Mhm.
You know, we don't generate just the two of us and,
Yeah, I noticed a lot of that.
right. So, I mean, I think that, yeah, we're all,
Yeah, it's gonna most likely need some rebalancing.
yeah,
Even if you took like a two-person household and left it as is, but then started to prorate the rest of it. You know, so to acknowledge it, still to acknowledge the senior living in the house, but because of the size of the household, to prorate it.
Yeah, I mean, if the original concept was to, seniors are gonna put out less trash, so therefore incur less cost. And it was a sign of respect to our senior citizens. If that was the original intent, which we believe it was, then it may very well need some rebalancing, especially in the situation, like I said, we're using the census. Jack found a household of 8.
Mhm.
Senior citizen down to 1. Now the senior citizens own the house.
right, right,
And culturally, it's very possible
Yeah.
that, and it's very normal to have 3 generations still living under the same roof.
right.
But that's not why the program was designed. So in a case like that, it definitely needs some rebalancing. We're finding that a lot of college age students, instead of going out on their own, are moving back to the home temporarily, but they're moving back to save some money so they can get on their feet after school. Well, if you have a couple of early senior citizens that own the house, you could still have 4 people
Mhm.
in that home. Again, not the original intent.
Right.
So, thank you to Jack and to Tom and to Colleen for reviewing the letter and designing the questionnaire.
Yeah,
We'll
very,
see-
nice.
we'll see
very,
what comes
very
back.
well done.
We'll see what happens when the results come back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I really like the letter. Sure.
Right. We're gonna skip over.
You can mention it.
Okay, so we'll just talk about the Board of Health 2025 scholarship applications for a moment.
Mhm.
Joyce, I don't know if you had a chance to.
Yeah, I read them all
Okay.
and picked my favorites.
Oh,
Because
good.
you don't have to make any decisions tonight, so the board just got on.
Right. Well, I made my decisions.
Oh, good,
I
good.
marked them by which one I like for number 1 and number 2, and I just went through it.
I thought they were.
I mean, they're all good students. They're all doing good things and stuff. but-
Yeah, I got as far as making notations of the different strengths and or weaknesses that I saw on each one. I didn't go to the numbering system yet.
Yeah,
Obviously, I need to get there, but I didn't know if we were gonna have
enough
some
people.
discussion.
Yeah,
I think that people the next board meeting.
Okay,
yeah,
so
when everybody's.
we'll
here.
have some discussion and then I'll number mine and we'll come up with that matrix and we'll get it done.
Yep.
Colleen, anything to add on scholarship
No,
apps?
I'm still in the process,
Okay,
so I'm glad that,
yeah, good reading.
yeah, absolutely.
All
I mean,
right,
they are seem like a great group of kids, you know.
I was thrilled to have that many
Mm,
that were interested.
Me too.
All right, so we'll pick that up at the next meeting.
Okay,
Thank you. Board of Health minutes to review and approval.
just to let. Well, no, Tom did come in today. We went over the minutes, all 3 meetings. I guess kind of grammatical changes, but that was it. Everything else was good. And
Okay,
Hallelujah.
all right.
Say,
Joyce, I'm looking at Wednesday, March 26th,
yep,
2025.
yep, I
Um,
reviewed that.
I was good with that.
Yep, me too.
All right.
I reviewed all
And,
all that.
I didn't see any grammatical things, but Tom has an eagle eye for those
no,
things.
he was good with this one.
Oh, he was, all right.
So
Okay,
I'll
so-
make a motion, we approve the minutes for March 26, 2025.
All right, very good. I will step down and second that motion. All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, I'm looking at Wednesday, April 9th, Again, other than the length, I was good with it.
Right, I was too, like, well, that was a really interesting meeting with.
It was.
Going through with um, the new group and all that sort of stuff, meeting them and stuff like that. That was excellent.
Yeah, no, it was a great opportunity,
Right.
conversation, to be able to put a face to the voice and the name.
Yeah,
So. You want
I make a motion that we accept the meetings, the minutes of the Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 as read.
All right, I'll step down in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, moving on to Wednesday, April 23rd. Again, I was fine with everything as presented.
As was I.
All right,
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025 as read.
very good. I will step down and second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You. Moving on. In business, 2549 Bridge Road, additional blast testing discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I request that we post this until the next board meeting, as Vice Chairman Fickner requested this topic, so since he is not here, to have it at our next board meeting.
Okay.
I'm on board with that. Mendon private all regulations update.
Have any,
Okay,
Tom still is,
Tom has still not provided me,
But I owe him a paragraph about the, blasting too, in fairness, that I'm working on.
okay. So it's still in progress.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we were close. All right. Board of Health admin updates, trash recycling mailer update.
All right, so the rates have been set. The letter has just been approved tonight, so tomorrow I'll be emailing Kelly and Ryan to start setting out the services, to get the bills out. So we're looking at roughly May 26th, and bills will be due on June 26th. So it gives us 30 days for when the bills are mailed,
right,
so we have
In
everything
the fiscal year doesn't start till
July,
July 1st, so we're in good shape.
yes.
Excellent.
So the letter, the senior letter that we just reviewed, that will be an insert with the bill,
And also online.
and will be a service as well.
Very good. What was the full rate?
It's gonna be 420 standard, that's for annual,
Yeah.
and 214 for the half rate annual for the seniors.
Last year we were at
406.
and what is the seniors?
203 was, is this fiscal year's rate.
and it's going to 214.
Again, because the contractual rates have gone up and
Right, yeah,
disposal has gone up.
Yeah, probably the only thing that's gone down is recycling, right?
Yeah.
Our actual,
Yes,
the cost of recycling.
yes. $77, I believe, was the last bill, instead of the 110.
So now it pays to recycle and not put it in the trash. Wow. Good to hear. Somebody's obviously finding something to do with that recycling, which is a
Well, a
plus.
lot of it is fuel too.
yeah.
That's a big factor.
Are you talking about truck fuel? Okay, yeah, the diesel. Very good, okay. Moving on, Mendon landfill catch basin update.
So the Mendon landfill catch basin. Picture was taken on August 29th, 2024. This is the one that DEP and Atlas said this was a hazard. So we had to repair it. For the thanks of Chairman Greenberg and John Dudley of the Highway Department and his staff. This is the after picture that was taken on April 30th, 2025. So it has now been complete. It has been graded and seeded.
Very good.
Great.
Good job.
And I believe this part here was the old piece here.
Right, right. That had to be broken up.
That's just gonna be broken out and pulled away.
Very good.
So that should be off that list.
Excellent. While we're on this topic,
Mhm.
have the depressions been completed?
They've been completed with the loam and the topsoil, but I don't know if they've been seeded yet.
Okay.
Because I know, John Dudley told me they weren't seeded.
Right.
So I don't know if he was going back out to seed them or not. I'll have to
Yeah,
double
just
check.
follow up on that only because we're gonna run out of grass growing. Right,
Yeah.
but it's been good weather for it, but I mean, June is around the corner, things tend to get a little drier. Not that it has to be a manicured lawn by any means, but definitely just, it's completed once it's seeded.
I'll jump in tomorrow morning.
And who does the mowing? Oh, good. Okay. That should be,
He takes care of that. So. Mrs. Madam.
Right. Yeah, I don't know which, Mr. Fuji.
Michael,
Okay. All right, moving on.
we also got the extension too.
Yeah, that's gonna be next.
Oh, sorry.
Mass DEP technical review of Mendon landfill modifications request update.
And I'll have Colleen,
We requested, from Mr. McQuaid, an update, based upon our last meeting that we had and the clarification. He hasn't gotten back to us yet. The guy and the clarification, but he did, excuse me, extend the time for us until July 23rd.
oh, I for correct.
Check.
So the
No
the
problem.
time for that application isn't going to expire.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. And I thanked him and reminded him that we're still awaiting clarification on the item.
Anything on that, Joyce?
no, it's part of my pit history.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to get rid of it. Just
All right, well,
saying,
thank you very much for working with him and getting that extension.
It's been, yeah, it's been.
We don't want our investment of both time and money to go
all right,
to expire.
Right, right.
And we're doing everything we can on our end to try
They
to
know that too.
complete everything.
And it's much appreciated. The repair to the catch basin was noted. I think that's why they know that we're eager to complete the process and bring them into compliance.
Because actually there was three things. There were the S wells,
Mhm.
which got taken care of first, the depression second, and the catch basin third. So to that list of things that they noted during the inspection, they've
That's
been completed, other than the seeding, which I'm not sure, which is minor.
Mhm,
So we're definitely making some good progress
absolutely.
since last fall.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fine, yeah.
Last fall we started with the test wells.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Stay on the topic. This is the land closure map, the landfill closure map that was done. This is like if you're going up to the driveway from left to right, this is the landfill area here. On the right hand side, as you're driving up the driveway. Yes. Is this gonna work? Just want to show you here. Colleen pointed out to me when she was reviewing the map. There is a marker where it says. Forgive me, the scale is 1 inch equals 30 feet. So you see that right down here.
mhm,
yeah,
So this line here, next to the red circle, is a 1 inch line. So I was able to, give me a second. I was able to map it out using those dimensions for the specification. So it's 600 feet left to right and 180 feet from the top to the bottom for the deepest point,
Okay. And that was Mendon's,
closing map.
Okay.
Of the landfill. This is what DEP is referring to. Again. Tom and I have been looking at this today because I wanted to update him on what we'll be discussing tonight. Taking that picture
mm-hmm,
and putting this overlay over it, I am thinking that the monitoring well 2A, which is down on this side,
Mhm.
is out of the landfill, which is what the DEP was concerned about. But Tom made a good point. Give me 1 second. Stop sharing this. There it is. This is the Norfolk Graham group that the DEP was talking about where they found trash. Second to last page. Trash. I'll zoom in closer because I can't read that close.
Consisting of metal.
Because yeah, consisting of metal distorted by the augers, plastic bags, glass, fibers, and pieces of a carpet or area rug and a doll's arm. So they found this in monitoring well 2W, 3, and 4. Those are the 3 wells that the DEP was concerned about, that the monitoring wells within the landfill. They're supposed to be out of the landfill.
Okay, so this is when they drilled those wells originally?
Correct.
This is what they found. So they drilled the wells, they found that stuff, and they still put them there.
That's correct. So, if you recall, number 3 and 4 is on the left-hand side going up the property.
Mhm.
This is the picture from 2004 when they were drilling. This is well number 3. And if you look on the next picture, again, let me zoom in here. This is monitoring well number 3. You notice how there's no brush covering it as it is today. Because Tom made a good point. This picture is over 20 years old.
Right, and we had talked about that, how the forest is growing in.
So we are thinking monitoring wells 2W, 3, and 4 are in the landfill area,
Okay. And they're not supposed to.
and they're not supposed to be. Okay. We thought they were outside the landfill area, but seeing this picture here without the overgrowth, the brush and everything else from 20 years ago, and now it's in the brush now, we're thinking it's in the landfill. So those 3 wells are not going to meet compliance.
Have they tested the wells? To know,
Well, one of the stipulations on the DEP report is to check to see if the wells are 50 meters away from the trash's edge. And with this picture right here, we can clearly state that these are not 150 meters away from the edge of trash. They're in the trash.
But they've been tested fine.
Correct.
You would think that they'd be the test.
That's why I said the
would
top
be
today too.
180 degrees in the other direction.
But they want to see what's flowing downstream from the trash.
Right, but downstream from the trash, if you're going up the driveway, wouldn't that be immediately on the right? And didn't you say we have a well there that is outside?
Well, that's what I thought, it's outside. Well, 5 is, number 5 is down by the Bellingham Street, 26 Bellingham Street. That's definitely outside the left side area.
Okay, that's on the left.
Yes.
Okay, I thought we had one on the right when I was looking at that picture.
So here's the map here.
Right,
This is the map DEP has.
okay,
as you can see, right here is where they have the wells.
Okay.
I thought they were up here, because it says proposed monitoring wells,
Mm-hmm,
and there's two dots right here. That's where I thought 3 and 4 were,
mm-hmm.
but it's not. They are actually inside this square area. They're inside the trash area.
Okay, and that's the area that wasn't being used by the town of Mendon.
That's correct. No, that is the town inside.
Okay,
Ferrucci's part is way on the more right hand side.
okay.
And the other monitoring well that I thought MW2
Mm-hmm,
is again within the trash area.
okay.
I thought it was further down.
Right, and where the cursor is now, okay, I thought we had one there.
We have MW2 down here
Yeah.
already. And we have a gas well was down there as well.
And those have been tested fine.
Well, we're only testing the monitoring wells, not the gas ones.
Okay,
So the monitoring wells are the water ones, and we have been testing those. We've been testing all of them.
okay.
But they want the wells outside of the trash.
All the wells.
The 3 wells that they mentioned, yes.
So we're looking at having to drill 3 new ones.
I don't know if it's 3, it could be additional 1. We're gonna have to talk to Nathan about this.
The other wells would then be abandoned?
I would say yes. Because I thought it was during one Board of Health conversation that Jennifer said, we just close those off. And the new ones that wouldn't be any more tested, we're closer to reopening to.
It's just the expense of drilling new ones, which was $2,000 to $4,000.
Yeah, 35, 3,800.
Okay. But yet the DEP had us repair those wells.
Which is the well caps.
But still, if we're gonna abandon,
Put those caps in the wells.
well, no, if you abandon them, I would assume they need to be secured. Some fashion. Just like a regular well needs to be secured, you just can't fly in there, so. Okay. When we get clarification, we'll know what we got in front of us.
Yeah, and then like Jack said, I'm gonna send this off to Nathan, you know, get their perspective on it as well. And then we can, you know,
Hope for the best.
decide on how many wells it is. We know at least one, right?
Mhm.
I guess I can't believe that all these years and the report existed.
Well, I think that's what Nathan said at our last meeting, because I don't understand why they didn't see this before 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Obviously, the wells were located in the wrong spot.
Mhm.
From
But
day
they
one.
must have been testing, were they testing okay?
Yeah, but that's fine.
So what's the big deal?
That they're not outside of the.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, because we're asked for a decrease in the monitoring, so now there's another set of eyes and another set of requirements that come into play, other than just the basic monitoring that we've been doing over all these
Yeah.
years. So now we've asked for a decrease, so now it's like, okay, in order for them to grant the decrease, these are the requirements.
Yeah,
And technically, we are under compliance with the CMR that they stated in the letter. The CMR says stated 150 meters outside the trash.
Is there a date on this plan somewhere?
Had to ask, where's my thing?
yeah, it should be over on that bottom
Yeah,
right corner somewhere.
November 19, oh, just sorry. November
1980.
82.
Getting there.
Yeah, 1982.
82.
Does it list an engineer?
Shea Engineering.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was working with them.
Yeah.
You know, at the time, I mean, I wasn't working. I was working for the town.
Yeah, so right here, monitoring well locations added on September 22nd, 2004. So those 3 wells, 2, 3, and 4, all done at the same time, and all 3 went to the trash area.
As the report states.
Right.
So were they told to put them there?
Who knows?
You have to go back and look.
But even if they were told to put them there, according to the report, what was coming up on the auger, you would think someone would have questioned and said, something's wrong here,
Yeah, we need to search elsewhere.
you know, or we need to call somebody and say, hey, you sure this is where? All right, well, whatever it is, we can't go back in time. We can only go forward.
Yep.
So we'll look to get, some clarity on it so that we'll have plan of action. Would Jack and I will continue.
Well, I'm glad we have these documents
All right,
and, Jack, the wizard,
Oh, yeah.
the overlays. No,
Well,
it's the only way to do it now.
but I never thought about the picture difference of, when Tom pointed out well number 3 picture, like, there's no overgrowth. Whereas it's like now it's bushes and stuff
Right.
over it. Never
Oh,
thought
yeah.
about pointing to a picture back in the day.
Yeah, no, it happens all the time, and if you're not paying attention, it happens even quicker,
Oh, yeah,
you know?
Mm,
Just with the construction next door. From when they did the initial construction to today, I'm sure that property has shrunk up 5 or 6 feet on the perimeter where the brush is. In a short period of time, and if you don't fight it back, it's gonna keep coming. All right. Not good news, but,
not horrible, but I mean,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
well, full sides are working together.
Yeah,
Can't get any better than that.
that's right, and that's the whole thing, you know, another opportunity to learn.
That's all I have.
Okay. Well, moving on to health agent updates, please.
67 Pathford Ave West, I went down and saw the property on the last week, and, the furniture is all gone. I sat and had a nice conversation with her for a while. I stayed with Dave down, today, he's on schedule to clean and sanitize the well tomorrow. And he's gonna let me know when it's done, and then we can do the testing. Reached out to Amy. Amy was on board. She has the funds available once that's completed. You know, to pay Mr. Down for his time and also to have the water tested. So we'll see what happens with that. Dave said he'd give me a call tomorrow or Friday.
Okay, and that well line still needs to be
Then
relocated.
we're gonna have to discuss that.
Okay.
And that's gonna be something that, you know, we'll have to probably sit down with the property owner because, we did reach out to that, Mass Housing Alliance, and that project is just too big for what they provide.
Okay.
So I also mentioned that to Amy, she's aware of it, so we're all working together, we'll, you know, first see if the water is potable.
right, that's the thing.
Right, and then we can address the moving of the water line, which we did have a couple of quotes for. And I did reach out to the building commissioner regarding the garage itself.
Okay. So work in progress.
Yeah, we're actively pursuing it, I mean, the rubbish is from the front yard, it's removed, we still have to address that side.
It's looking very clean when I go by.
In front of it, yeah,
Yeah.
and then they did do some work down below, but there's still debris on the other side, but I kind of put that on the back burner just to get the water situation, because that's, to me, in my
Important.
mind's eye, more critical, than, you know, the refuse on the side of the property.
Right, I agree.
And the garage too, because the garage looks like, you know, it's holding on to the wood and brick. And if that comes down, it's gonna create another issue.
Okay,
And, 'tis the season for food trucks, and, that's really what's occupying most of the time. We did, have the, tobacco on the main store, two businesses. Met with them, with the two businesses today, one of them will be coming for the May 28th. And a fine was issued, and paid today. The other fund is forthcoming. There'll be, some more conversation on that one. I just need some clarification on it. We sent an email out today, to, Sarah McLaughlin, and we'll get a response. So we'll see what she has to say there. And then we'll advise the board in the next meeting. Food trucks, I mean, they're coming in left and right, very busy, yeah,
That's the new thing.
yeah. Very busy on the weekends, you know, Peregrine had their thing, and then of course Vanderbilt. Friday night was kind of a washout, I felt bad, but Mother's Day, packed,
Yeah, I heard they were
unbelievable.
overflow parking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until
And
5
this
o'clock.
weekend's their spring market, so they're gonna have the back, they have like, you know, the, non-food, some non-food vendors, but they also are gonna have food vendors. It's a, you know, just a pleasure to work with them, they're really.
Oh, good to hear.
family. They're, you know,
Local people doing well.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
yeah, and our local businesses too, our restaurants and whatnot, you know, opportunity to go in and talk with some of them and, you know, just to check in and see how things are going, things like that.
So the Peregrine, party in the back was raining, was it that
Yeah.
day? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a nice opportunity, I'll tell you, and just everything, you know, the tea shop, they're doing so well, I'm so happy for them. Check in with them a lot. Just the other establishments, you know, just that face-to-face conversation is important. So if they have any issues, they are not hesitant to contact us. You know, we're fielding some complaints, some housing complaints and, rooster complaints. So Jack and I are working on
The
that.
roosters are crowing again.
Yep.
Cockadoodle doing.
where is that?
Terribly.
On Bill Street.
Been very receptive
Yeah.
to, you know, to the outreach, Jack and I went out on one property today, and the property owner contacted us almost immediately. Very positive, very,
Very nice.
yeah,
Very nice.
really, very, very positive.
And this is a relatively recent,
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
so it's being addressed by us and the homeowner.
Almost immediately,
Can't beat that.
And what was the complaint?
Rooster crowing early in the morning.
Oh,
there's actually 3 of them.
He has 3 roosters. And he's getting 2 of them this weekend.
oh,
Gets rid of the competition.
Yeah, but also too, they had, you know, other animals there, so, you know, we added that to the barn inspection list.
Very good.
Yeah.
And, you know, Danielle is out there, so if we, you know, need her assistance, don't hesitate to contact her.
Absolutely, and we're also, spoke with, Kevin Sullivan, and he's preparing something.
Okay.
But everything really, I mean, you know, we're busy.
Mhm.
We are very busy, but everything, you know, is positive. Like I
Right.
said, that opportunity just to have that face to face with our businesses.
right,
Now,
that's good.
food trucks in general, and Joyce kind of alluded to this. Has there been a upswing in the amount of food trucks that are out there? Or is it just something that we're starting to see here that was always existed?
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Okay, so food trucks are kind of the new trend.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just for fans and whatnot, I mean, people are using them for wedding venues, family parties, birthday parties. It's, you know, it's,
Amazing.
well, it's easy, you know, I mean, you have it catered or you go and get food, right? This is, you know, the truck is there, you got there, you order what you want, it's hot or cold, depending upon what you're ordering. Convenient, there's no cleanup. You know, more and more people are using them. I know I went to a couple of weddings last year, it was food trucks.
So this is the new
Yeah,
trending
yeah,
thing, okay?
Yeah.
So we can expect to see more.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we even see more this year. A couple of new trucks.
Trucks, yeah.
Yeah, that we didn't have last year or the year before. I was familiar with a couple of them just because of in Blackstone. But now, you know, we're seeing them here in Mendon too. And it's good, you know, I mean, you get to talk with them, you get to talk with the vendor. like the Vanderbox now, they have everything sectioned off as far as, you know, the 10 feet apart. The vendors know as far as the generator placement, you know, unhitching your vehicle from the, you know, from the food truck itself, the trailer. And, you know, it's all very receptive, safety first, you get to inspect the food trucks. Once, you know, we're gonna get to a point where they'll be inspected, but I still go there because I want to make sure that they have hot water is a deal breaker.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right. Anything else, Colleen?
No,
All right. Topics not anticipated within 48 hours.
Nothing in my world.
Can't think of anything. Good and welfare for the board, Joyce.
I don't know, I think the board is pretty good and that's my personal opinion. We have a great,
I'm assuming you must have been reelected.
I didn't hear anything, that's the only thing on it.
that's me too.
Yeah, see, if Tom was here, Tom would have right away said,
Congratulations.
and thank you so much for volunteering for another 3 years.
Yes,
We don't want to do it without you.
That's right, it's a pleasure.
It is. It is.
You know, that something that was to me very demoralizing though, when I looked at the, did you go and vote?
I did.
And did you notice that there was only one person on every voting thing? There was no,
Yeah.
I actually noticed, I believe, on the water commission and on the assessors, there was no one.
no one, right?
Now, I thought Kevin Rudden was running for
He didn't
assessor.
put his papers in.
He got him in late, I thought,
You did.
because I wrote him in, as I can say that, I wrote him in
Yeah.
for assessor.
Right,
But I know he's involved with the water board, but I don't know if it was his turn to be up for that.
Mhm.
right.
So I think that was kind of my disappointment, was to find that there were some empty slots essentially.
It's not, I mean, it's not just Mendon.
I thought it was very demoralizing that there would nobody, I mean, I would have liked to have been,
Ready, yes?
yeah, you know, hey, I can do this.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Hopedale, same thing, there were no
Yeah,
contested races. Their election day was just.
yeah, it's like nobody cares. I mean, quite honestly.
Well, I think it might go a little bit beyond. We know from doing it that it involves a lot of time
Right,
and it's a commitment. I actually got a phone call on my way to town meeting from someone who's a client that knows I'm on the board. So they have my number on speed dial.
right.
And I had to go pick up a dead possum on my way to the town meeting because everyone he called, according to the message, couldn't respond. So our job, whether we're on staff or volunteers, is to try
Compensation.
to help the community. So the possum came to town meeting.
So funny.
But
Why couldn't they bury them themselves?
yeah,
You know, I mean, what is,
I took care of it. I was just glad the possum wasn't playing possum with me.
Exactly.
Did we have a discussion at the last board meeting?
No.
Alright, so from that last board meeting, since you told me about that, I did talk to John Dudley. John Dudley does deal with the dead animals when the DPW is open. When the DPW is closed, it's for emergency cases only.
right,
And the possum on the road is not an emergency, but you can bring somebody out for time and a half.
right.
For other times, you can call Kevin Sullivan, he'd come get it, but again, when he's available, he will go get it tonight.
I think the only reason I'm bringing it up is because those are the things that someone who is involved does
Right,
and just does it.
right. And
So
gets it done,
not
right.
everybody wants or is in a position in their life, whatever decade they're in,
right,
to make that kind of a commitment. So I don't think it's that they don't care. Maybe they just don't have that slot of time in their life at this particular moment. My hope is that when that decade arises, that they have the time to commit, that they'll raise their hand.
yeah, I hope so. It just was, I felt demoralized.
Is it advertised to say that there's open spots in town?
I believe town clerk. Yeah, I believe, you know, because, and a lot of times board members will knock on people's door
Right,
that know, you know,
Right.
that they may
right,
be in a position to jump back in.
right,
I mean, that's how I got,
right,
you know, someone had to pay attention to other things in their life. And somehow my name came up. And so I came to a meeting or two to kind of see how things went.
right.
And see what the discussions were about and things like that. And I was in. I mean, no one's ever cared to run against me.
Or metaphor?
That's right.
Again,
We're happy to have you.
well, thank you. I would welcome that. But there are so many open positions that there's room for everyone
Yeah,
that wants to make the commitment. And you do it because you care about the
right,
community.
right. You want it to work and you want everything to be the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, how do you say no to your neighbor?
Right,
They're your neighbor.
Yeah.
So you do it, and we've been fortunate,
right.
you know, both on the,
We're lucky to have Jack.
that's right, the board member side and the staff side, and the coalition,
Very.
the Blackstone
Yes.
Valley that has been a huge asset.
Mhm.
So we keep doing it because it works. I can't think of anything else on the good and welfare for the board. I haven't seen anything in the news. So I'm good.
Me too.
All right.
Yeah.
We will set the next meeting.
Next meeting will be Wednesday, May 28th.
Joyce, 7:00, still good for you?
Yeah, it works out perfect. I
All right.
mean, I didn't wear my golf shoes in.
Hey,
I got finished at almost 7:15.
hey, just in time.
Came right up here.
Fantastic. It's on the way home.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we'll have a motion to adjourn,
I move
please.
we adjourn the meeting.
All right, I'll step down in second. All in favor?
I
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you and good night.